Good morning, students. In class 9, I talked about in the previous video, in the previous class, about all the numerical, mathematical possible aspects of Newton's second law. Now, today, I'm going to having a class on the application of Newton's second law of motion. The first question is, why does a fielder pull his arm back while trying to catch a cricket ball? Okay, the question is very popular question, and this phenomenon, this application is very situationally asked to the students, and very simple explanation. Students, what happens actually? Let's see. Students, in the game of a cricket, a fielder stops or catches a ball by pulling his hands back along with the ball. Yes, we have also played the cricket, I guess, and we do, because simply if we will not grab our hands, we will not pull our hands back. By pulling our hands back, what happens actually? It decreases the rate of change its momentum, and we are maximizing the time. So whenever the time will be increased, the rate of change in momentum will get decreased. So in every question, the logic is same. What? To minimize the effect in every cases. Alright, students, what we have to do to minimize the rate of change in momentum, we have to maximize what? Maximize the time period. Alright, so this is a very simple question. I hope you have understood. If not understood, let's pick up the question number 2. Why does a fall on the concrete floor hurt more than on a sandy surface? Students, concrete floor, you get hurt more in comparison to the sandy surface. What happens there? In that case, in the concrete floor, you are not getting the ability to maximize the time period. So whenever you will have a shorter time interval, shorter time, it means short time. If time will be short, then change in momentum will be greater. Change in momentum will be higher, will be greater. Alright. So whenever there will be a greater change in momentum, we would say that resultance, resultant factor will be affecting badly to the person. Now, what happens when I punch over the board? What happens? No time interval. There is no chance of maximizing the time. But when I will punch over the a spongy sofa, what will happen? Spongy sofa will maximizing the time period. So whenever the time will get maximized, the change in momentum will be low. Okay, so this is actually opposite to each other's phenomenon. Time as well as change in momentum is the key factor for every question in the Newton's second law of motion. Now, what is happening in case number 3? The case number 3, that how does a karate player break a pile of tiles in a single blow? Right? Students, a karate player strikes a pile of tiles with his hand in very short interval of time. In doing this game, in doing this play, what does he do actually? The entire momentum of the hand is reduced to zero in a very short interval of time. As a result, a very large force is delivered to the piles of tiles. Alright? It means shorter time, okay, greater change in momentum. Same answer. Shorter time, greater change in momentum. Yes. Now, I guess this concept is clear because when karate player, okay, piles after piles of tiles are broken in a single blow. Why? Because this time period is very, very low. This time period is very, very low. Okay, it is providing, the karate player is providing a very short interval of time to produce the maximum change in momentum. That is why piles of tiles get broken. Now, the next question, question number 4. Why does a boxer move his hand backward to minimize the effect of oncoming punch? Yes. Have you seen this match ever? Boxing match? Now, in this case as well, the players are, or the boxers are moving their head backward. They keep moving their head towards the back side. What is the reason? Because when they move their head back, they are allowing the punch to take the more of times. If more of times will be taken, change in momentum will be lesser and the punch will not have that greater impact. Okay, students, so this is the reason a boxer moving his head backward to minimize the effect of oncoming punch. So all these 4 questions are having all these 4 applications, and there are so many other applications as well. So all are having the same answer in case of Newton's second law of motion. Okay, students, now let's solve some numericals based on the force, Newton's second law of motion. Now let's see. The question number 1 I have written: a hammer of 500 gram mass moving at 50 meter per second strikes a nail. The nail stops a hammer in 0.01 second. Okay. So students, mass is given. Mass of hammer, that means mass is 500 gram. Okay. Now, what is given? Initial velocity. Initial velocity of the hammer given. What is the initial velocity? 50 meter per second. So, initial velocity of hammer, that means U is 50 meter per second. Now the nail stops the hammer, that means final speed is reduced to 0. Okay, so final speed of hammer, that means V, is 0 meter per second. For what time it is getting striken? 0.01 second. Now here you can see that mass of hammer is a 500 gram and it is not in SI unit. What we need to do here? We have to convert the same into the SI unit. The SI unit of mass is kg. So it will be converted into 0.5 kg. I hope you have understood all this. Now, what is the question? So the question is asking to find out the force. So force is equals to what? So force equals to, we know, m into a, right? From the definition of acceleration, we are having m into a. In place of a, we can write v minus u by t. Now mass value will be substituted, 0.5 into v minus u. That means v is 0, u is 50 by time, that means 0.01. Okay. In solving this one, 0.5 into minus 50 by 0.01. Okay, 0.01 means what? This decimal place will be removed, then two zeros will be go on upside. So two zeros are being kept. So 5 5 is 25. That means minus 2500. Minus 2500 Newton. Newton. So this is the force that we have evaluated. Students, this negative sign that you are seeing here is nothing. It indicates the force exerted by the nail on the hammer is a retarding force. What kind of force this is? This is a retarding force. Okay. So such numericals will be asked in the exam. So our duty is to cover the numerical problem aspects as well of Newton's first law, second law, all of these. Okay. Students, now I am beginning the conceptual studies about Newton's third law of motion. What is the specific statement given by Newton? Newton's third law of motion states that whenever two bodies interact with each other, the force exerted by the first body on the second, okay, and that force is called action force, is equal and opposite to that exerted by the second body on the first body, which is called a reaction force. Okay, suppose if you have kept any book on the table, suppose this is a table, and you have kept one book, okay, or any object. All right, you have book kept on the table, all right. So this book is also applying the force in the form of action, and this table is also applying a force, okay, but this force is called action, and the force which is applied by the table interactively, okay, is called a reaction. So students, basically Newton's third law of motion is known as action, a reaction, effect force. All right, effect force, Newton's third law of motion. All right, this is also known as cause and effect force. Newton's third law of motion can be defined in so many ways. So whenever two bodies interact with each other, the force exerted by the first body. What is the first body here? The first body is book. What is the second body? Table. And the force will be equal. The force by action force will be equal, and it will be opposite to the reaction force which is being applied by the table on the book. Okay, so Newton's third law of motion. So we are having a lot of concepts in Newton's third law of motion, but we will speak about those applications of Newton's third law of motion, as well as the establishment of the conservation of momentum. We will also talk about it, but not now, in the next video, in the next class. Thank you very much.